the central focus of whatever small amount of mental training I give my students comes down to a very, very simple concept to understand. This is the idea of identifying competition in terms of its normalcy. Most people see training and competition as two different things. Training is normal activity that you do every day, and competition is the exception. Okay, it's different. You're going out, there's people watching you. There's a big crowd. They're making lots of noise. In fact, the promoters of shows go out of their way to reinforce this. Look at, for example, ADCC, when Gordon Ryan went to fight Andre Galvin. Okay, do they just come out on the mat and fight each other? Absolutely not. There's music, there's pageantry, there's fireballs. They're literally shooting fireballs.
Yeah, some dude in a tie sitting with Joe Rogan.
I heard about that guy.
Meathead podcaster, comedian, whatever.
Which one was the meathead?
Well played, John Danaher. Well played.
But you see what they're trying to do. They're trying to create theater and pageantry, when in fact it's just a grappling match. It's just two athletes, a referee, and a rule set. That's the reality. Now, what they try to sell you is something which is not reality, which is this is somehow bigger and different. And they reinforce this with pageantry and theater so that it becomes not just a grappling match, but a grappling performance, the same way you have a theater performance. And my goal as a coach is to dispel that and say, when you go out there, there's only one reality: you, him, and the referee reinforcing a rule set. That's it. Everything else you see, the smoke, the fire, the music, is an illusion. And it's put there intentionally to make you feel a certain kind of way. And your whole goal is to see this as an illusion and walk out and see only the reality, which is that this is the same damn thing you do every day in the gym. The only difference is you're going with a guy you've never grappled before.
So the actual act of removing the illusion or realizing that it is an illusion, how do you practice that? So when you step on the mat,
once you're aware of it, I always have them to. It's like when you see a magician and you have his tricks explained to you, you never see the magic again. The first time you see a good card trick from a good magician, it's, oh my God. Then when they explain it to you, I did this, and that, step one, step two, then you look at it like, it's not that special. And when you explain to people this idea of the pageantry is an illusion, then just as when you watch the magician and you learn the trick, all the magic flies out the window, so too with the nervous response.
Well, so that's for the pageantry, but what about maybe the physical intensity of competition? Isn't there an extra?
No, it's the same in every competition. It's not like, they're twice as strong at an ADCC as they are in the IBJF World Championships. It's the physical intensity is always pretty much the same. They experience it every day in the gym, and if you go out and you grapple Gordon Ryan, it's not like the next guy you grapple is going to be twice as strong as him or twice as fast. He's going to be a little stronger, a little faster, but not so much so that it completely changes your approach to the game. There's not that much difference between the human bodies out there on stage. So if you've felt intensity before, you're not going to be shocked by ADCC.
But in terms of in training, do you have to try to match the intensity of competition?
No, that would be foolish. Every athlete in the gym would be injured. Yeah. You can do it for short periods of time, but the training has to be carefully monitored in terms of intensity levels. Remember, we're training 7 days a week, a minimum of twice a day. You've got to keep things under wraps. Like, every other workout you can have one of the 5 rounds can be full power, but not 7 days a week, 3 times a day. That's just going to break bodies.
And the full power is just a reminder of.
It's more about skill development for us. It always comes back to skill development.
But what about matching the feeling of the intensity of competition?
So, yeah, periodically.
Periodically,
but it can't be
rarely.
Every single time. Not really. It's not rare.
Meaning
out of 3 hours of hard sparring per day, like 15 minutes might be like 100% full power. That way you That's more than enough to get psychologically ready for it, the intensity of conflict, but won't break your body over time.
Intensity of conflict. That's well put. There is competition. Doesn't it have that extra level of animosity? Like it's a little bit more conflict than it is.
It can. Sometimes there's personality differences. Like, for example, like Gordon Ryan and Felipe Pena, they admire each other a lot. They respect each other's skills, but they certainly don't like love each other. That's for sure. So there can be certain matchup where there's more intensity, but then there's other matchups where the two athletes come out and it's no more intense than a hard sparring session.
It's really fascinating to watch not just your athletes, but you coach and watch so many of your athletes. It's fascinating to me that this is a global event and the same coaches appear time and time again on the mats. As a coach, while the match is happening, what are you doing? Are you giving like technical advice? Are you giving tactical advice? What's going on there?
My job as a coach and cornerman, once the match starts, is always technical and tactical. Always understand that a coach should never give orders to an athlete, because only the athlete on the stage truly knows what the situation is. For example, in one recent match, Gordon Ryan had a terrible knee injury in the middle of a match. I didn't know the extent of the injury. I knew something had happened, but I didn't know the extent of the injury. So, given my ignorance, I can't call for moves and demand moves, because I'm not inside the athlete's body. Only the athlete knows what's truly going on. So what I give are ideas, and sometimes the athlete will react to the ideas, and sometimes the athlete will reject the ideas. The idea is not for me to give orders, but rather to make suggestions. Usually what I'm trying to get my athlete around is tunnel vision. Sometimes when you focus on one thing, you just see what you want. And sometimes you need someone to make you see outside of that box. That's my primary role. I'm not there to be a cheerleader. I'm not there to bring up someone's spirits. I expect my athletes to go out with good confidence and good spirits. They should have been taken care of already. So most of the advice I give is technical and tactical rather than psychological.
How does the game change when it hits that points segment in the match? I mean, is it something that you...
Oh yeah, then definitely tactics become a big issue. ADCC is fascinating because the first part of the match is almost purely submission wrestling.
Yeah.
But that changes, of course, in the second half. You bring in the points aspect. That's when tactics start to become very, very important. We saw a lot of that in the match with Gordon Ryan versus Bushasha, where a trick of single leg takedowns, which enabled Gordon to pull guard without conceding points, became very important.
And that was something obviously that was planned as far as, as soon as overtime happened, it was like, well, we're standing up and we need to have some jiu-jitsu happen. And so that was one way that a lot of matches at ADCC seem to be kind of a slap contest for dominance.
We're always trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Our intention is to make this a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
We love wrestling, we love judo. The primary appeal of this kind of tournament is submissions and ground play in particular. So we always try to keep it in that domain as much as we can.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed from the coaches today, everyone was more calm, and it was less, like you're saying, you're not a cheerleader. You're out there giving some advice or opening up tunnel vision. And a lot of tournaments, you hear them yelling and screaming, and that's not what the best in the world do. So advocating
someone past the guard doesn't help performance. If the coach isn't helping performance, they're not doing their job. And screaming out generic advice like try harder or go, these things don't help performance. You need to be giving information, statements with information content. And I think the coaching definitely got better this year than previous years, for sure.
Has it changed?
Yes.
Okay. Just one more thing. I do have your several of your videos. The back take DVD was on display today, or the back control. How would you describe that real quick, just to give that a little promotion?
The system itself?
Yeah, like what did we see out there that
well, probably the best thing you could do is just be to watch Gordon Ryan. He's literally the master of that back system. He's just phenomenal at it. It involves a series of hand fights leading to a series of leg traps, which limit your opponent's ability to defend strangleholds from the back. It has a kind of step-by-step nature and occurs on both sides of the body. But I don't want to bore you.
Yeah. Well, you say watch that. Also watch your DVD, and that's just I've learned a lot from that. So thank you so much.